All right, what is going on? Happy 3-day weekend, Monday. Candles lit on the Memorial Weekend. Hope everybody's good. It is Monday, May 30th. And a lot of you probably have the day off. I never have the day off because I work for myself. So when you work for yourself, you could either have every day off or you have to work every day. And it's not work when you love what you do. Anyway, here we are. And this is Let There Be Talk. It's going to be a solo episode today. I've got a bunch of guests in the can, but I thought, hey, 3-day weekend, let's just fucking shoot the shit today and give you a little solo action, kind of like what I do on the Patreon. Over there, patreon.com/Dean Delray. I do a bunch of bonus episodes. I do some Zooming with the Patreoners. You can get on a live Zoom with me, whatever you want to do. Check it out. Dean Delray. That is the Patreon. And lots of merch still available at DeanDelray.com. And tour dates. Speaking of tour dates, I will be in Austin, 2 shows, 1 night, July 9th at the Vulcan Gas Company. Tickets available on my website. And then I will be headlining out at Fort Collins, Colorado at the Comedy Fort, July, I think that's 23, hold on, let me get the fucking proper dates so the promotion works. July 15, 16 is the Comedy Fort in Fort Collins, Colorado. Looking forward to both those dates. Stretching it out, doing a little headlining. Been working on some new material. It's kind of coming together. And it's always interesting to go out and headline when you do it. I used to do it like every weekend. And then after COVID, it's been tough to do weekends. So when you go do it, it's like, all right, let's see how this goes. And then, let's see, the Bill Burr dates pick back up here in a couple weeks. June 23, Portland. June 24, out there in Auburn, Washington. 25, Vancouver. 26, Calgary. So some cool dates coming up. Very cool. Also, I can't say anything right now, but tomorrow will be a massive tour announcement with me and a couple other people. And that starts September 9th and goes through October 24th. I can't give it away. I signed documents. Top secret till tomorrow, but I'm sure you'll see it all over the social media. And I'm very excited about this one. It's going to be a wild ride towards the end of the year here. Out touring with a couple of my favorite humans ever. So look for that announcement tomorrow. And holy shit, what a great thing it's going to be. Anyway, let's get into it. Shooting the shit here on my weekend. I don't know what you've been doing. I went and looked at some. I went over to I love architecture. And there's like these weird pockets in LA that there's different types of architecture. They're not like in my favorite areas of LA, like Granada Hills, Northridge. That's where they had the big fucking Laluma earthquake. But there's these pockets where back in the 50s and 60s, architects were like, hey man, let's just build a whole neighborhood. And you go in there, and it's just like, I love Palmer and Kreisel. And these guys built a lot of stuff in Palm Springs and around LA, but they did a neighborhood in Northridge, one that got pretty rocked by the fucking earthquake. So me and my good friend Vivian Yoon, the fantastic real estate mogul agent, decided, let's go spin over there. Is the kind of things I do on my day off. Let's go spin through a neighborhood and look at this open house. And we went out there. It was a house that Kreisel designed. And he's a killer architect. You can look him up. Unbelievable. Did this neighborhood in Palm Desert. The first condominium neighborhood, I believe, in California called Sandpiper. Anyway, so we go to look at this place, and we open it, and it's unreal when you go somewhere and it's all original inside. If you think about the 50s where people stayed married somehow miraculously, they stayed married their entire lives. They bought a house in let's see what year it was. Hold on, let me look what fucking year this is. Stayed married, bought a house. God, I wish I knew everything on them. Just when I go into these places, I'm like, what is the history? And I posted it up in my Instagram, and people are like, oh man, I bet some wild parties went on in there. It's like, nah, it's just not a party. It was just raising a family, old school 50s style. So the place was built in 1957. First time on the market by the original owners, which I'm definitely sure are dead now. That's why this place is for sale. I'll read you the listing. Excellent curb appeal with 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet of living room, sprawling lot of 11,000 square feet, classic features such as post and beam, done by the famous Palmer and Kreisel design team. So we go over there. It's a bunch of stuff in the listing here that's all fucking jive in this real estate market. This is what I love to do, man. This is what I like. I like comedy, stand-up comedy. I love my dog Gertie, and I love real estate, and I love music and movies. That's pretty much my life. I get up, let's see what's out there. And I've turned into my mom. I have turned into my mom. And I think most of the people out there, they either want to, I was saying this yesterday, they want to be like their parents, or they do everything they can not to be like their parents. And I love my mom. Didn't care for my dad. That's well documented in some of the podcasts out there. But, my mom definitely was, she's still around. She's definitely one of those dreamers, when I win the lottery. And now I have slowly turned into my mom. I'm out just looking at stuff that I can't buy, which is fine because I love it for material. And I like to get out of the fucking house. If you don't get out of the house, God, it gets grim. So yeah, I'm just out looking at real estate and architecture. I love looking at design. I like looking at interior design. You ever go to your friend's house and you're just like, wow, this fucking guy's got no taste. Or their house looks just like their grandma's house. They don't know how to design or anything. You can see it. You see somebody that dresses like just whatever. I'll just put on whatever. You go in their house, grandma's house. Anyway, so we spun over to Northridge, and we go into this house. It's an open house, and there's no one there. Vivian's a real estate agent, so we got the code to get in, and we open the door, and this thing, like I said, was a time capsule. It's like a young couple bought it in 1957, moved in, and lived their entire life in Northridge, which is wild to me also to think about people that never, ever move, and had some kids. And the reason I know that is the house was still set up like it was probably 1965. Maybe the kids were like 9 and 7. They had bunk beds in the bedroom. There was photos of the kids, like school and stuff. That room was still intact. And the kids are definitely probably the ones selling the place now, which is even weird. So we'll just keep their room how it is in case they move back. Which these days, kids move back. I got to move back, man. I lost it all in Bitcoin. I got to move back in, Mom. Well, you got to sleep in the bunk bed. Anyway, so we're going through the house. It's got original stove, original fucking oven, and it just, everything's original. The toilets, I mean, that's wild to think about. Back when shit was built to last forever. And they did no remodel. They were probably like, why remodel? This shit still works. This thing was a fucking time capsule. It was like you walked in to an episode of Scooby-Doo meets Mad Men. Scooby-Doo, zoinks! Scooby-Doo meets Mad Men. That's what it was fucking like. So anyway, Viv and I are walking around in there, and I get to the back kids' bedroom, and I just get full Shining vibe. Like, in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, this whole family got murdered or something here, and they're all gone, and the place is just up for sale. It just, I'm not one of those people, this place is haunted. But yesterday I was like, this place is definitely haunted. It was just so weird. Now, in this crazy real estate market, does not matter. The one person goes, this place feels haunted. And a guy next to you would go like, yeah, you're right. Don't buy this place. And then he buys it, I started wondering, like, do you get like any kind of a ghost warranty? Like you move in and after a month, remember that movie, what was it? Amityville Horror? That's one of my favorites, Amityville Horror. They move into that house where the guy murdered the whole family. And then the house starts to fucking do, Guido. The house actually yells at the guy one day, Guido. I went and looked at that Amityville house a few years ago. I was somewhere on tour and we could go over and look at it. And there it was. That place scared me as a kid. There's 3 movies that scared the fuck out of me as a kid. The Exorcist, the all-time scariest fucking movie in my eyes, because it was, to me, it could probably happen. When you're a kid, it's not like a monster, And so Exorcist, Omen, another, Satan. Satan was scary when you're a kid. Satan is the original scary monster when you're a kid. And later you got like Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers. And the all-time scariest, the chainsaw dude. Holy shit, he's rad. But, so Omen. And then the third was Amityville. And they're all fucking devil shit. Oh, the devil scared me when I was young. I don't know why. I think because he just thought that maybe that could happen. My grandma was pretty religious. Made me go to church a couple times. That was scary in church, just being like, oh man, church is all geared around scary shit. You do this or you go to hell, And man, did I rebel against that shit. But this house, like I said, I'm not one of those people that are like, it's haunted, but it just had this fucking weird, still vibe. And then we went in the backyard and it had the biggest fucking swimming pool, totally empty, just waiting for Tony Hawk to show up. That's all I kept thinking. Like I wanted to text Tony Hawk or email him and DM him and go, hey, here's the address. There's no one there. Just go rock this thing for a day. Because get it on video would look cool because there's just this Palmer and Kreisel mid-century in the background and you're just skating behind this piece of art. Man, I mean, this thing was screaming for skateboarding. 12 feet deep. I went into it, got to the bottom. 12 feet deep. I just kept thinking about back in the old days, just swimming pools. Like you'd have a friend that had a swimming pool and you just hit that house like on Fast Times. Hey, you got any iced tea? Damone at the fucking swimming pool. Yeah, man. Crazy shit. So that's how one of my things I've done this weekend so far. And today is Gertie's birthday. Gertie is 6. So I am taking Gertie over to Venice Beach and celebrate her birthday. 6 years old. I cannot believe it. I absolutely love this dog. I've had her almost 2 years. I got her when she was 4.5. And shout out to Rose Flower Frenchies. Still just the greatest day of my life and the scariest. I remember picking up Gertie like, oh man, shit, I got a dog, but oh, it's helping. I'm not doing comedy. The bubonic plague is here. We're all going to die. I got Gertie. Figuring out what I was going to call her. She had this goofy name. What was her name? It was Estrella. Estrella. The hardest name to say. And, named her Gertie after the Drew Barrymore character on E.T. because she kind of looked like E.T., but I wasn't going to call her E.T. And I have not loved anything more than this dog. Somebody said, what about your mom? Well, I'm not talking about, my mom, of course, but Gertie has chiseled away some of that Los Angeles coal wrapped around my heart. So Gertie is 6. Happy birthday, Gertie. I love you. We're going to take her to the beach and get her some dog ice cream, do all kinds of dumb shit. Yesterday, I took her to a Frenchie meetup. No. Yep, Frenchie meetup. I am definitely the gayest straight man you'll ever meet. I'm just totally straight, but do gay stuff. Because, gay people do cool shit. Like Frenchie meetups. Oh, Gertie. Oh, man. It's so funny. So we take her, I keep seeing, I take her down to the Frenchie meetup. And it was just straight up like the Star Wars bar in person. Remember the Star Wars bar? There was every type of Frenchie there. Just fucking craziness. And Gertie was like, just sitting next to me like, nah, I don't like these people. She was treating the other Frenchies like they were peasants. This is the weirdest episode, right? Just fucking mid-century and Gertie's birthday. But, it was fun, man. It was fun. I love this dog. And, God, she brings me incredible joy. Love you, Gertie. All right, what have I been doing? This is what I've been doing all week. I'm going to give you a rundown of what I've been doing. First of all, I'm one of these guys. I watch stuff way later. And, when people are pounding stuff on me, like, dude, you got to be watching this, man. You're not watching this. Come on, I don't watch shit. I just don't. And, after a couple tough weeks of comedy and shit, sometimes when I have some downs in life, I like to watch inspirational shit. So I decided I was going to watch 2 things. I was going to watch the George Carlin doc, and I was going to watch that Jordan thing finally, The Last Dance. I'm the guy that didn't watch Breaking Bad till season 3 once I got the flu. Then I burned through them all. But I just don't... I can't sit around and just watch shit. I'm working all the time. I seriously fucking work all the time. During the day, I'm podcasting. And that is, believe it or not, that takes a lot out of me. I got to get ready for the podcast. And then you got to be on when you're interviewing somebody. You can't just be burnt out across from them like, yeah, so new record, huh? Yeah, cool. All right. Tell me what the inspiration was to the new record. I can't do that. I got to be on. And I podcast sometimes 5 days a week. Like this week, I did a shitload of podcasts. And Fahim was over, good friend of mine. I hope you dug that one. Checked out a special hat trick. Fahim came over, and I was excited to talk to him about his special. And then I interviewed John Doe, and I interviewed, who else did I interview? Hunt Sales. And then I had a bunch of shows doing stand-up. And in between that, I got to try to get some sleep on and the gym and, maybe a movie. I want to see Top Gun tomorrow. And I want to see that other one. What is it? Everything is Everything or whatever it's fucking called that everybody's hyping up right now. And then I got to run the Patreon and Zoom Fest. And it's fucking... It's a lot of work, man. So I don't have time to watch something that's 10, 15 fucking episodes or 5 seasons. I just don't. Part of me is glad I don't. And the other part of me is like, well, I got to watch shit so I can write some bits. I watched that fucking Beatles documentary and I got one of my favorite new bits out of it. So that's fucking cool. That was an early thing I learned from Bill Burr. He said, hey, man, I know you want to get on stage every night, but you got to live a little life so you're not just writing about the Comedy Store patio. So I did take that in, and I do live a life. But, it's hard for me to watch a bunch of shit. ADD is at the max. Usually when I'm sitting there watching I love going to the movies. I turn the phone off. I watch the fucking movie. I take the ride, and it's great. I'm ready for some Top Gun. I'm ready for some fucking, you're dangerous. Fucking dangerous, Iceman. I'm ready for some towel snapping, volleyball flashbacks. That'd be great, man, if it was like just Top Gun later on. You just find out that Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise, they're dating now. It's like realistic Top Gun. It's just called Top. There's no Top Gun. It's just Top. Yeah, you're going to see Top. I'm a top. That shit's funny. If you're not laughing, fuck you. I'm going to see Top, man. This shit is good. Anyway, so I decided to watch the Jordan Last Dance because I love to get in inspiration. I love to watch people that when they fail, they keep going. They push through, they get to the other side. I never see any documentary where the guy goes, well, man, I just fucking got up one day and I was just fucking good and never failed. I never see that in any of the docs ever. It's like everyone's going, no, 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 lose, lose, lose. And then the person just keeps going, nah, I ain't stopping. And then fucking boom. So I love to watch that stuff. I need that once in a while when I'm having some rough times. So I watched the Jordan one. I'm on episode 4 right now. And the reason I didn't watch it during COVID was I was kind of fucking busy with pandemic depression. I didn't want to sit there and watch something for inspiration while I was thinking I was never going to work again. Like, let me put on this. Maybe this will make the pandemic go away. Fuck no. So I'm in the frame of mind now to watch it. And as I watch it, and I think I talked about this a few episodes, I've been getting into sports again over the last year. And I think it's cool to watch sports where you get into it on your own. You don't watch it with a bunch of blockheads that are fucking high-fiving and going, fuck you, fucking my team, boo. I just like to watch stuff done at a high level. Basketball, football, World Series, all of that. So, I've been watching the NBA, which, by the way, congrats to Golden State again. They're going to be playing Boston, so that'll be fun to watch. Those are kind of cool things just to fucking throw on. I've got no I mean, I want Golden State to win, but I don't got any money on it. I got no horse in the race, man. And just throw it on, man, for a little decompress in between, work. So I'm watching the Jordan thing, and I realize I grew up during that era. I've loved basketball, and I never, ever talk about it, but I've loved basketball since the day Magic Johnson joined the Lakers as a rookie. Kareem and Magic. I watched all of that era. I lived in the Bay Area, and Golden State was just trash for years. I mean, they had like the Nelly era, with Chris Mullin and all that, and Weber. They had some couple of almost, but to me it was always Lakers, and that was part of my love of LA, just digging the shiny stuff, Ooh, look at that, the Lakers. And I still love the Lakers. I love Golden State. But I love that old school Lakers Celtics battle, all that old shit. So as I'm watching the Jordan doc, it's giving me great flashbacks. Also, I just love the old school fucking sneaker culture and the fashion and all of that shit. You get it all in the Jordan doc, man. I loved fucking Dennis Rodman. I loved him. He was an outlaw. He was the Guns N' Roses of the NBA. He was this guy was the outlaw. And I forgot all about the Pistons just being these guys beat ass. These guys were fucking UFC of the NBA. Anyway, I love Rodman, man. He was so loony. He did dumb shit, but he also could play the fuck out of basketball. And of course, Jordan was goddamn, that guy was just the Zeppelin. And Pippen, old bitter Pippen. Pippen reminds me of the rockers that I have on here that signed the deal, and then later was angry the whole time. Pippen was like one of those musicians, signed the deal, record deal, and then when they got big, they were like, fuck this, which is wild. But anyway, so I watched that, and then I burned through the 4-hour Carlin doc. And George Carlin is definitely one of the greatest comedians of all time. And it's interesting to watch Carlin. People were saying to me, man, I wish Carlin was around right now. I like to hear what he'd be talking about. And I was like, I'm glad he's not around right now, because he would kill himself 100%. Because he would be like, I already covered all this shit in the 70s. Abortion, gun control, big corporation fucking takeovers and scams, homophobia and racism. He would go crazy. He's like, I've been talking about this shit for 30 years. Can you imagine each time he goes to write his hour, it just starts with, well, we're still dealing with the same shit. We're still dealing with racism and guns and fucking global warming and race, and homophobia. He would go crazy. He would fucking go crazy. People want to know, I want to know what his take would be right now. You want to know what his take would be right now? Just put on his special from fucking 1989 or 85. It looks like he wrote the jokes yesterday. That's his take on it. It's almost crazy, man. When I watch Carlin, it's tough to watch somebody like that, because you're like, well, fuck, I'm riffing on some of this shit that he's talking about. How can I even get to the level that he was at? I do see a lot of Carlin influence in some of my bits. One of them right now being this Elton John bit I've got, and another one which is kind of an influence from his words, his obsession, and I've got a bit called Stupid Signs. And it's funny for me to watch it because when you grow up on Carlin and Pryor and Cheech and Chong and Chris Rock and stuff, it's almost kind of cool to see, oh, wow, man, these guys really have influenced me. As I'm watching Carlin, I'm like, look, I'm not saying my bits are at his level, but they're influenced without me even sitting down and thinking about it. Like when you listen to, like, say, who was I talking to a couple days ago? I was talking to somebody, like King Hannah. And, their influences and stuff, but it's their songs, and their songs are really good. So it's kind of wild to watch Carlin. I saw Carlin in the 80s. I was trying to remember what era it was. But when I watched the doc, they were like, oh, yeah, in the early 80s, he was considered done. And I'm like, whoa, that's when I saw him. It was some of the funniest shit I ever saw, that baseball versus football. He had a bit about farting in the elevator. That's the thing, man. They said, which was genius, a lot like Chappelle. He'll draw in the people with the low-hanging fruit stuff, the fart jokes, and then he'll just fucking hammer you with kick-ass bits with messages in them. They grab you. They're like, oh, I like this guy, fart joke. And then he's like, yeah, and what about racism? They're like, huh? What? So, really cool. There was a scene where Carlin's laying in bed, and it's with around the second wife era. So he's just chilling with his dogs in bed, resting. And I spotted something. This is like things I love to see in old footage. In his bed, he had the brown, it's about the size of a kind of a book. And it was the old cable box. I don't know what kind you guys had, but this was the one. It had a long cord. You could just put it on your couch. And it had about 30 white buttons. And you just pushed it in. It was a cable box. It was tannish brown. And I spotted on his bed. I go, oh, fuck. There's that old cable box, man. It made me so happy thinking about those. The first time you got, when your life was ruined, when there was more than 4 channels. And then you're like, I'm never going out. I'm never going outside now. I was just telling my friend yesterday, we went to that neighborhood where that mid-century house was. And this is the second neighborhood I've been in where I noticed there's no one in the fucking neighborhood out. When I was growing up, I'm 56. I don't know if you know that. But when I'm fucking 56. He loves to say how old he is. He's always saying he's fucking 56. But hey, back in my day, your fucking mom would say, get outside. There was, 4 channels, and during the day, they just showed shitty soap operas. That's it. And game shows like fucking, Price is Right and shit. So you'd wake up, you'd watch little cartoons, eat Fruit Loops, and then get on your fucking BMX bike and ride around the neighborhood and see if anybody else is outside. That you didn't have a cell phone or anything. You just rode around like, hey, Timmy, let's ride down to the creek and jump the creek, break our arms. But what I noticed, it's funny to think about that Carlin cable box and then later the computer. That is when the shift happened. And there's no one outside anymore. All these houses have big yards in the front and back. And it feels like Stepford Wives. There's just no one outside. There's no one working on a car. You don't work on cars anymore. There's no one out front wrenching on their fucking 72 Corvette. And you pull up, right? And wait, what's going on? I think I got fouled plugs. Either that or the carburetors, the bowls are sticking. I guess I'll rebuild the carb and change the plugs. And then the guy next door was fucking waxing his ski boat. And then the dude around the corner, he had fucking shuffleboard. Just whatever, man. There's no one outside. You're not working on cars. Cars are fucking... You open the hood now and there's no fucking engine. It's just a piece of plastic. And, you just go, oh, okay. And so there's no one working on cars. There's no one out front. They're all inside on their fucking computers and their 102-inch flat screens. Just pounding fucking soda and almond roca. Well, maybe not almond roca. That's old day shit. But they're just pounding junk. Zero exercise. See, this is my Carlin. It fucking world is gross. But it's weird to think about. And my thought was like, wait, all of these houses are on 11,000 square foot, 12,000 square foot lots. Here's the new rule. If you don't fucking use your yard, front or back, we come in and we build another house on your lot. Because you ain't using the fucking outdoor lot. And now there's all kinds of primo property available. You go through Beverly Hills, these lots, 20, 30,000 square feet. Beautiful manicured lawns and gardens. No one in them. No one out. Just, all right, here we go. Container home. Right in front. You ain't using this. You won't even see the container home because you'll be inside on your computer or watching fucking 7,000 channels. This is my new fucking new way of having more property. We can have the rents come down. You vote for me, you fucking assholes, and I'll get a new house in front of every house. Anyway, so I spotted the George Carlin cable box, and I love the George Carlin doc. It was very good. It was very dark. I've always watched docs and still have questions. I know he went to rehab. I know he was addicted to Vicodin. They skipped a bunch of that stuff, but they did cover his insane cocaine habits and his wife's drinking problems and how great she got it together and became a fucking super producer and mogul. And George Carlin, one of the Mount Rushmore comedians, full on. And it's funny. I look at George Carlin now as a comedian, and I look at him more not as a comedian in the later era. You know, he had all these different eras, which is wild. At fucking, how old was he? He was like 25 years into comedy, and he's like, I'm still trying to find my voice. And I was like, this is amazing. I need all of this info right now. All of this. This is great. It's a master class for comedians. But I look at his later era more like a one-man show, kind of like Rollins does, like the spoken word. Sure, it's funny as fuck, but I think that Rollins is definitely heavily inspired by Carlin. I look at it less stand-up comedy and more like a one-man show that's funny as hell. And because it's a different style, definitely. It's definitely a different style. But, if you haven't seen it, it's on, I think it's on HBO Max or whose ever password I use. Thank you. Shout out to you. Anyway, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, I was going to say this. I went to see Def Leppard on Thursday. I knew about it like 3 months ago. Had lunch with Mikey over there, the owner of the Whisky and the Rainbow. And I said, hey, who's coming? And anything cool coming? And he's like, well, something big's coming, but I can't really tell you. And I begged him to tell me, and he told me, Def Leppard, and I knew about it like 3 months ago. And I was fucking fired up because Def Leppard never played small venues in America. When I saw Def Leppard, it was on the High and Dry tour. They opened for Blackfoot at the Henry J. Kaiser. in Oakland. And when Def Leppard hit the stage a couple nights ago, Joe Elliott said, we've never really played a small room. We've never played the Whisky. We've never done the clubs in LA. The first time we were in America was 42 years ago. And we were opening for Pat Travers at the Santa Monica Civic. Not the first time they were in America, but the first time they played LA. I don't know where they played the first date in America, but it was definitely constantly opening for big acts. And, you know, they toured around, so they never played something like the Whisky. So to see him at the Whisky was absolutely mind-boggling. Now, I saw Def Leppard about 3 years ago, right before, I believe, the pandemic in New York at the Madison Square Garden. And they killed. And I talked about it extensively on some bonus episode on Patreon years ago, where I was like, these guys, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how good Joe sings. I can't believe how good the band sings. I talked to Phil Carlin about it. I said, is it piped in vocals? Is it taped vocals? He said, no, man. Joe went back. I guess he got some shit scraped off his vocal cords, took a year of singing lessons or whatever. And then we all started to train. And now we sing the 3-part harmonies. And they do. They put a little bit of that kind of Hysteria era effect on it. So it's got that, you know, hysteria when you're near, you know, like that big fucking breathy thing. But it's them singing. And to see these guys, I guess they're in the 60s now. I think Joe Elliott was 61 or something. I looked it up. Do not remember. Like a dummy. But these guys fucking crush live. And I'll tell you what, man. I am going to talk about Def Leppard in this episode the same way I'm going to talk about Wilco. I love them both. I'm not a fucking, you know, I love good songs. And I love fucking powerful rock. I love it all if it's good. And Def Leppard, the On Through the Night record, High and Dry, Pyromania, those 3 records are fucking masterpieces. It is unbelievable. I've been rocking Def Leppard since the On Through the Night record came out. And I probably listened to On Through the Night and High and Dry and Pyromania 1,000,000 times. They are fucking so good. And when you listen to that and think about how old they were when they did like the Overture and, hold on, what is that song? Master, hold on. Let me look it up for you mofos, Def Leppard. God, what a cool band name too, right? Def Leppard. Okay, here we go. So, it's so funny when you open up the iTunes, it's all essential albums, Hysteria, Pyromania, High and Dry. And they leave that goddamn fucking On Through the Night record out. But, okay. On Through the Night came out in 1980. Rock Brigade, I remember, was the first song I heard from them. Great. Hello, America. Sorrow is a Woman. These guys are like 15 years old. They didn't have outside writers. These fuckers are influenced by AC/DC, Thin Lizzy, Deep Purple. They're writing their own tunes in Sheffield. I've said it before. I walked around Sheffield and I thought, to get out of Sheffield, almost impossible. And then to get to the level they are about to do a stadium tour in 2022, 42 something years into their career, unreal. Here it is. Answer to the Master. So fucking good, man. March 14th, 1980, that came out. And here I am seeing Def Leppard at the Whisky. They never in their career did a small venue in America. They played small venues in the UK, headlining and stuff, in Europe. But Can you imagine that career? Like, yeah, we just play arenas and sheds and stadiums our whole career. It's unreal, man. I tell you what, I went with Bill Burr and Molly from Live Nation. She's from the comedy division. I've known Molly. She's been fucking great help to my career over the years. She booked the Punchline at Cobb's in San Fran. We immediately hit it off from our love of rock and the Dead, which is wild. She's a lot like me, almost exact. Loves Def Leppard, loves Grateful Dead. Great. Anyway, so we get these great front row balcony spot, just standing there, and they come on and they open with a new song. Their new record's out right now, Diamond Star Halos. And you know how it is. A band puts out a new record that's been that deep. You're like, I'll give it a spin. But they open with this song, Take What You Want. And it sounded like a song that would have easily been on Pyromania. And they played it super aggressive. And fucking Joe Elliott sounded like a god. This guy, I mean, I'm hoping I get him on the podcast because so much respect for him and so many questions I want to ask. But new record, give it it a check. It's got some cool tunes on it. Take What You Want, Kick, and Fire It Up are like the rock, and then it kind of gets into kind of that AAA softy stuff. And I get it. They're in their 60s. They're not going to fucking come out, with a full rock record. I wish they would, but I'm not going to knock them for it because, look, I got Take What You Want. Now you put that into the set list for the next couple years, and there's another fucking rockin' track in their set list. It's crazy. It's crazy how good they are. It's crazy the history. Rick Allen crashes, loses his arm. Steve Clark is dead. Rest in peace. Pete Willis gets fired for booze. Keep going. They keep getting bigger and bigger. This shit's unheard of. Losing band members and still getting bigger. Only a couple bands ever did that. AC/DC loses Bond, gets Brian, becomes the biggest band on the planet. That's inspiration to get up every day. Like, fuck, I lost again, but I'm going to keep going. Def Leppard kept going, waited for Rick Allen to learn how to play drums with his feet. What are you fucking kidding me? Any other band would have been like, you're out of here, you fucking tanker. See ya, we got a new drummer, we're on our way. These guys go, this is my fucking brother. We think there's technology right now that's new. Back then, it's fucking new. Now bands don't even need a drummer. They just got a guy up there that presses a button. God damn, they wait for this technology and their guy, to fucking combine forces to bring out the electronic drums. Unreal. Unfucking real. Anyway, they smoked it. They played 75 minutes. Go see them on this stadium tour. Just old school. Take a handful of mushrooms, hit the stadium, and just fucking have a good time. Have a good time like there's not a pandemic out there. Anyway, so that was Def Leppard, and I want to shout out to the Whisky. I want to thank them for having me. Just once again, I've said it over and over, the Whisky is one of the greatest venues of all time. It is like the Comedy Store. There is nothing like it. It is family owned. It's not, fucking T-Mobile presents the Whisky. It's none of that shit. It's a fucking family that has kept that shit open for over 50 years. So, awesome. All right. Wilco dropped a new album on Friday. It is called Cruel Country. And Wilco has been one of my all-time favorite bands since I first heard the AM EP. Not the AM record, not EP. And I had no idea Wilco had a new record coming out. It's so wild how the record business is now. There's no billboards around LA for Wilco. There's no pop-up ads in my fucking Instagram for Wilco. And there it was. All of a sudden, I was just like, oh, fuck, there's a new Wilco album. I didn't even know nothing about this. It's a double album. It's 21 songs. It's called Cruel Country. They're going back to the kind of AM and being there vibe. And I got to tell you, man, I'm a huge Wilco fan. Huge. I've seen him probably 40 times. Opened for him before. I absolutely love Jeff Tweedy. I sold him a guitar back in the day. He wrote about it in his book. And he didn't write about me, but he wrote about this guitar he bought in San Francisco that became the magic guitar that all kinds of songs he wrote came out on. It's a great story on that between me and Emmerkluck backstage. I see Tweedy. I talk to him. It's a fucking funny story, but 95 AM comes out. Great fucking song on there called Casino Queen. I Must Be High. Great classics. Box full of letters. You know, little alt country is about to explode. I'm on board. I'm learning acoustic guitar. I'm ready to write my own record. And I'm influenced heavily by the movement of alt country. You know, Wilco and fucking Jayhawks, Lucinda Williams. I'm loving all of this. And then they dropped Being There in 96, which is one of the top records of all time to me. Summer Teeth, great. Ghost is Born, fantastic. Sky Blue Sky, masterpiece. Talk to Klein about that, great. Then I get a little lost on Wilco. They released like 3 records. And I'm kind of, I don't know what I'm doing at the time. What year is this? So they dropped the one self-titled Wilco in 2009. So I guess I'm just starting comedy. And I'm almost not even paying attention to the world at all, except for comedy. So in 2009 and then 11, they dropped the record, The Whole Love. I'm still not hearing, glancing over the records. Star Wars comes out in 15. I'm deep into comedy. Schmilko comes out in 16. Then in 19, I fucking raise my head for air and Ode to Joy comes out. And I'm back in and going back now and digging into those records that I missed. And loving fucking Wilco always. Just, sometimes life gets in the way. And that's where I understand where people go like, what happened to Wallflowers? What happened to the Black Crowes? But, Cruel Country is a double album. And it is fucking great. Give it some time. It's my new Sunday record. You got to put it on and just take it in a bunch of times. Deep in the record, there is a song called Mystery Binds that is one of the best Wilco songs ever. And that's track number 19. It's so funny to think a song that great is that deep in the record. But that's Tweedy, man. He's like, hey, I'm not here to fucking get hit songs and shit. Find it when you find it. And everything great on this record. I really like it. I can't stand the album cover. I'm going to be honest. It's ugly. And it's not good. Wilco is known for cool album covers. This one, and I'm not knocking him. It's not good. I hope his wife or something didn't draw it, because then I'll feel bad. But if someone at the label said, here's the artwork, I'd be like, hey, dude, fired. You're fired. This is one of the greatest bands ever, and that's what you come in with, that artwork. I can't even fucking read the name of the band. I can barely read the name of the album, Cruel Country. It's just bummer. It's what it looks like is it's a bandana, and they just kind of, it looks like your grandma's tablecloth. That's what it looks like. Grandma's tablecloth is the new Wilco album cover. Oh my God, man, it's been a long time since I've done a solo episode. It's fun though. It's fun just fucking riffing. I hope you guys enjoy it. I want to give a shout out to some new Patreoners. Tony Gomez, thank you so much. Todd Kent, and the return of OU821. Thank you for joining my Patreon. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the ride. 11 years here on Let There Be Talk. 11 years. There will be a new Grail this week. And thank you for your support of the Cactus Radio Network, my podcast network. And just thank you all around. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. A lot of you have been here through the grind. I feel the show's been better than ever in the last couple of years. I truly believe that. I have not burned out on doing the podcast. I'm always excited to find the new guest, who's going to be next. And I dig bringing it to you guys. And I hope you have a great fucking day off today. And I hope to see you out on the road. July 9th, Austin, 2 shows, Vulcan Gas Company. July 15th, 16th, Fort Collins, Colorado, the Comedy Fort. Tickets are all at deandelray.com. And the big tour announcement will be tomorrow. So look out for that. And I love all you guys. See you at the Comedy Store this week. Or see you out on the road on the Bird Dates. Candles are lit.